All right, so peace. You know, there was a great fight on this past Saturday. Well, I shouldn't call it a great fight. There was a great fighter fighting this past Saturday, that being Terence Crawford. I made a video about Terence Crawford a while ago in regards to his co-signing a street fight between two women. All right? But he has a extraordinary talent in the boxing ring. So you're going to see he's going to finish this dude off, and then he's going to call out some great fighters. Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman. And they're going to comment on it, and I'm going to chime in every once in a while.
Oh, good shot by Crawford. Oh.
He hitting that man with that clean stuff, man. Good Lord.
Diaz is one game fighter, though.
They're not going to let him out for the next round. And there's the stern look on the face of the Diaz family. Yeah.
Throwing a damn towel. Throwing a towel.
As they stand at ringside, and now Joel Diaz waving the white towel, and we're done. Technical knockout victory for Terence Crawford at the end of round number 10.
I tell you, this dude, Alex Ariza. Alex Ariza is the dude right there who looks like a Caucasian, but I think I think he's a Mexican, Spaniard Mexican, something like that. This guy's supposed to be the top physical conditioner in all of boxing, but his fighters always getting their asses whooped.
Guys, Lamont Peterson's a good fighter. Diaz had a really tough fight with Peterson. That's Diaz's own.
Oh man, I thought the Caucasian settlers, I thought that they killed all the buffalo. I guess I was wrong.
His only loss. Diaz won a gold medal and had a competitive spirit and landed a few shots early, but was no match for Terence Crawford. Who is? In the 140-pound weight class, there isn't anybody.
Well, I'd like to see him fight Broner. I don't think Broner would beat him, but I think it'll be a very entertaining match. Broner has never lost a fight at 140. I would love to see him fight Broner, but I thought that that's going to happen because of different management.
Everybody wants to see what happens when he moves up to welterweight. First, he might fight
Do the Buffalo.
Julius Ndongo to get the 4 belts in the 140-pound weight class. And then if he can do that, maybe he goes to welterweight. People are still talking about the possibility, because they share a promoter, of a fight with Manny Pacquiao. I don't think that Pacquiao is going to be any more eager to fight.
That guy with the cap, Joel Diaz, he used to train Timothy Bradley. He's a good trainer.
Fight Crawford after what took.
He's real friendly with Crawford because back when Crawford was a prospect, they brought Crawford into Tim Bradley's camp to spar Tim Bradley when he was getting ready. I think when he was getting ready for Pacquiao, and they said Crawford was getting up in his ass.
Took place here tonight than was the case in the last several months leading into this, when the possibility existed for Pacquiao, if that's what he wanted to do. He's choosing to fight a guy named Horn in Australia instead. I agree, and I think Crawford would be favored, but Pacquiao remains, even though he's not what he once was, a tremendous matchup for anyone. Even Floyd Mayweather admitted he had his hands full, and that was a very difficult fight for him.
Let me tell you something. If Crawford get in there with Pacquiao, Crawford gonna have his hands full. All right? I don't give a damn how old Manny Pacquiao is. That man hits hard. He has huge hands for his size, and he's thick around the forearms and the calves. That dude is he's gonna be a handful.
So that would be a tremendous matchup, Pacquiao-Crawford. Well, Crawford certainly wants it. He has an ambition to become the #1 pound-for-pound guy, and that would be exactly the kind of name you want to get onto your resume. In the last 3 rounds, Terence Crawford landed 63 out of 98 power shots, and really, Roy Jones.
Damn. Got this man look like he from Japan. Look at the man's eyes. God damn. Can't see shit.
He could have amped the volume up and done even more damage. He was selecting carefully those shots that he knew he could land.
There's being smart.
Motherfucker like Mr. Miyagi.
Smart about it, because the guy's 161 pounds. You don't want to run in on a super middleweight and you're a dream lightweight, or a dream welterweight, and just give up big shots. So he did a smart job of taking his time, using his accumulation of punches to the head and to the body to weaken the opponent, and then slowly just let things come to an end. Don't go try to push the envelope too much and give yourself up or give up a big shot.
I hope Roy stick to commentating. because I can't take seeing Roy get knocked out anymore. And look at this Buffalo. There's another one. Good Lord. And got a tongue pierced. I guess I guess the tongue piercing helps her keep all the food in her mouth.
31st consecutive win.
Do the Buffalo.
That's his mother over here to the right of the screen in the black and white. Deborah. She's the #1 fan. 31st consecutive win. 22nd knockout. His skill is still amazing, and his power seems to be increasing with each passing fight, and this is the end.
Damn. Hit that dude. He hit that nigga in the throat. They need to have them old Batman sound effects. Pow, bam, kapow.
Yeah, that was a good shot to the throat, followed by a beautiful right hook, followed by another left hand, straight left hand, followed by another right hook to the top of the head. He just was landing too many punches. Joel Diaz realized that and just called it.
Throw in the damn towel. Throw in the towel.
Called it off.
Crawford fought the entire fight in the southpaw stance. That's the first time we've seen that.
But I told you in the beginning of
Do the Buffalo.
the fight, before the fight, that fighting a guy who won a gold medal as a southpaw was going to lead Crawford with his competitiveness to want to.
You know, they said this fight was in New York. Last night I thought that I saw on the news that there was a light tremor. They said that it was an earthquake, but now I see why. I see why it was about a 3.2 on a Richter scale last night.
I want to go out and show this guy that I'm better than you as a southpaw fighter.
Let's go to Michael Buffer for the particulars on the TKO.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Madison Square Garden, the challenger's corner indicates they can no longer continue. Referee Steve Willis calls a halt to the bout. Officially at the end of round 10, the winner by TKO victory and still unified WBO, WBC super lightweight champion of the world, the Fighting Pride of Omaha, Nebraska, USA, Terence Crawford.
It's a bad man right there.
Final CompuBox numbers. Crawford landing 124 more. Throwing nearly 200 more. Landing at a 37% overall connect percentage, which is very high. And limiting Diaz to a 20% connect percentage, which isn't high. Power shots. Crawford landing 81 more. Throwing 50 less. 59% of your power shots.
Damn, that basically mean that what that basically translates to is that Felix Diaz got his ass waz-zaz-zaz-upped. Shit.
That's freaky. That is just absolutely freaky. You don't see that number. And holding Diaz to 20%.
They might as well put a chain on top of Diaz's head. He's nothing but a heavy bag.
Of his power shots. It was a rout. It was a rout in which Diaz had a few interesting moments, but all in all, it was a rout because of the extraordinary talents of Terence Crawford, who stands by with Max Kellerman right now.
Congratulations, Terence, on a performance that we've come to expect from you. When you go up against good fighters, it seems to be no contest. But this guy started out with a little more competitive energy, it seemed, early in the rounds than some of your opponents recently. Did you come out as a southpaw to prove to him that you could beat him as a southpaw? Why did you come out left-handed?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank God for blessing me with this victory.
That's good for you, bro. Psalms 144:1.
And I'd like to dedicate this fight to my aunt that passed away, Bonnie Davis. Love you. And I came out southpaw because I do what I want in there.
That's right. That's a ruling class mentality. You do what you want in there. You do what you want when you popping, right?
It's my ring.
Because he's a southpaw, you wanted to prove to him that you're better than him as a southpaw.
Because that's what I wanted to do.
I was talking ringside and said that you, and I compared you to some great lightweights of the past. I know you're a junior welterweight now and soon probably a welterweight, but Pernell Whitaker, Roberto Duran, you're a mean guy in there. Like, you enjoy beating the guy up in a way maybe not all prize fighters do. Am I right about that? Why is that, Terence?
It's a fight. Can't be nice in there.
Yeah, what kind of dumb shit is that? You enjoy beating the guy up. What's he supposed to do? He's supposed to not enjoy it? That's why he's a boxer. Come on, man.
My dad always taught me as a little kid, don't go in that ring playing. You're going to get hurt. So you got to be mean in there.
We see that normal, really good fighters really don't provide you with competition. At least they don't push you. You need to be in there with another super fighter. Who do you see out there when you survey the landscape at 147 pounds, do you think makes a big fight with you where you will be pushed?
Pacquiao.
He must be ready to fight Pacquiao, or Aaron must have told him, we're going to try to make the Pacquiao fight for you next. For him to say that, because they've been asking him about Pacquiao before, and he kept saying the normal boxing politically correct answer of, well, you got to ask my promoter. I don't know. I don't make the fight. But for him to just come out and say Pacquiao, he must have either been told that fight is going to be next, or he must really be feeling himself right now. Either way, I mean, that's fine. When you're a championship fighter, you better be feeling yourself.
That's the only fight out there that we really looking for. If not, Ndongo here, he came to my fight.
Ndongo, the guy he's talking about, Ndongo, is the other guy at 140 pounds. He is a so-called African from Namibia. He has 2 of the belts at 140. Crawford has the other 2 belts at 140. I hope that Crawford fights him first, clears that up, and then moves to 147. Because Pacquiao ain't going nowhere. That motherfucker Pacquiao owe millions to the Filipino government in taxes. He'll be around for a while.
Let's get it on, Ndongo. Wherever you at. Keith Thurman, whoever, let's go. I'll move up and fight anybody.
Calling out Keith Thurman. So that shows you also that these other fighters recognize Thurman as the number 1 guy at 147, which is understandable. He has 2 belts. Now, Errol Spence is fighting a huge fight coming up this Saturday. That's going to change the landscape of the welterweight division if he beats, what's my man name, Kell Brook.
Do you think Pacquiao at this stage in his career is likely to fight you?
Who knows? Hey, that's not up to me.
Pacquiao gonna fight him. He a crackhead. A crackhead to do anything for that crack. That's Pacquiao. Pacquiao need that money.
I'm a fighter. That's up to my promoter, Bob Arum now. He got a fight that he's preparing for right now. So he's more focused on this fight than anything else. Like I said, I'm just blessed to get the victory and be here today amongst everybody.
In boxing, unfortunately, the case is nowadays a lot of times when you look the way you look, the super fights don't materialize right away because the other fighters don't want it. So
that ain't got shit to do with it. The super fights happen when the money's on the table. All right, that's all it's about. Ain't none of these guys scared of getting their ass whooped or whooping somebody's ass as long as the check is right. All that other shit, that's the media narrative.
So you have to fight a certain level of opponent and look the way you do to make the case for yourself. In a pound-for-pound conversation, your name keeps coming up and rising. Is that important to you to be considered one day the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world?
He's right up there. He's definitely top 5 pound for pound. You got Andre Ward, probably number 1. A few other guys, but Crawford is up there with everybody else.
Of course. That's what we all do it for. That's what we bleed, sweat, put our life on the line for, is to be remembered in the sport of boxing.
Thanks, Terence. Look forward to seeing you real soon.
It's for my boy, Bernard Davis. Happy birthday, Sandy.
Now look at his grandmama in the lower left. This bro got an eyebrow ring and got blonde curly hair like Brad Pitt. What the hell is going on?
Jim, another celebration at ringside for the Crawford family.
Yeah, somebody call the exterminator. I see a bunch of hood rats.
And meanwhile, Diaz has left the ring and makes his way back to the dressing room after a humiliating...
That Diaz or is that Mr. Miyagi? That man look Japanese.
Beating at the hands of the truly great Terence Crawford. And now Roy Jones at ringside, and Max Kellerman did a pretty good job of discussing all of the possibilities with him. First of all, You know the mentality of truly great fighters. Do you think that Manny Pacquiao, at this stage of his career, would still consider fighting a guy like Terence Crawford?
Of course he would. Manny Pacquiao is a guy who's also just as competitive as Terence Crawford.
Thank you. You see how they changed, man? I tell you, about 6-7 years ago, Manny Pacquiao was God to these announcers on HBO. Now all of a sudden they talking about him like he's an old hoe. You know, like, oh, you know, let's get him off the track. We got a new hoe to put out there on the track. That's why Roy said what he said. Of course he gonna fight him. Manny gonna fight him. No, Manny will fight anybody for that money. Like I said, he's a boxing crackhead, allegedly.
Manny Pacquiao has looked good in his last fights as we've seen him. He still has a little bit left in the tank. He's definitely a competitive type of a guy. So he would gladly welcome Terence Crawford in the right kind of situation. Now, if it's not the
right kind of situation means for the right money.
The right situation, then why should he fight Terence Crawford? But if it's great money and it's a great opportunity for him, of course he welcome that fight.
Sounds like the next fight we might see would be Julius Indongo of Namibia, and that's a chance for
Namibia, not Namibia.
Crawford to get hold of all four 140-pound belts, but at 147, and he mentioned some of the names. You have Keith Thurman, you have Danny Garcia still, you have Errol Spence and Kell Brook. There's a lot of talent at 147. Does Crawford qualify right now if he moves up to fight any or all?
Yeah, he qualifies to fight one time. One time basically has risen to the top of that division in my eyes because he's beat the best, who was Danny Garcia, who I thought it was him or Danny, who were the rulers of the 147 division. So with Floyd being gone, one time he's the ruler and he's the ruler at 140. Why not put the two rulers together? That's what boxing is all about.
Yeah, but Terence ain't fighting Keith first fight in. That's not gonna happen. They'll put Terence in there with somebody who they think he can beat at 147 first. Get him acclimated to the division, to the weight, to the power at that weight class. I mean, I could see him getting in there with a Berto first, or somebody along those lines. Somebody that they feel like he can get some good work in there with, and hopefully dispatch as soon as possible without getting hurt. But nah, they ain't throwing him in there with one time in the first fight, Roy. Come on, man. There ain't but a couple fighters in boxing history to just move up to different weight classes and first fight into that weight class. They fighting for the title. You got guys like Purnell, you got Floyd, you got yourself, and that's about it. Everybody else pretty much get a tune-up fight first.
That's what we do. So a real fighter wants to go up and fight the next real fighter. And like I keep telling people, real fighters don't look down, they look up. He's not looking for guys under him, he's looking for guys above him.
That was a shot at Lomachenko. That was Roy saying they keep trying to build up that Lomachenko-Crawford fight. He ain't thinking about no damn Lomachenko. Lomachenko is a $130.
You don't prove a point by beating the little guys. You prove a point by beating the big guys.
And for any who don't know,
by beating the big guys. Roy right now thinking about fighting some damn roosters.
One time is Roy's fellow Floridian Keith Thurman from Bradenton. Max Kellerman, your final thoughts on this brilliant performance?
Y'all must have forgot.
Performance by Terence Crawford.
Well, and by the way, respect to Keith Thurman, who's earned it, but I suspect that the best fighter at 147 pounds, the special fighter, is Errol Spence. We'll see against Kell Brook.
That's a big fight coming up this weekend, man. That is a big fight. Oh, I like Errol. He has good fundamentals, great power. He's a little too eager for the knockout shot sometimes, and he doesn't move his head enough. But when he hit people, he hurts them. At least he's hurt the people he's been in the ring with. He hasn't been in the ring with any A-class fighters yet, so this is a big jump for him to go from fighting a 40-year-old dude in Bundu to Kell Brook, all right, who's going to come in great shape. Now, the thing is Kell still suffering from that ass whooping that Gennady Golovkin gave him, where he broke his eye socket and all that? That's what we're going to find out.
Brook, if that's the case, I suspect it is. I also suspect that Terence Crawford is a great fighter. We won't know for sure until he's in with another great fighter, but I suspect we're watching a great fighter in his prime.
Terence is great. He has a lot of great attributes. He also has some flaws. He throws a lot of wide looping punches. He gets caught in the face and in the jaw too much. That's why it's going to be interesting to see if he can either correct those shortcomings when he moves up to 147, or if he can take that type of power at 147, because those guys at 147 can crack, man. They can crack. And I would like to see him in there with a Sean Porter to see how he deals with that pressure.
And that's really something to see. And the defining characteristic above all things for Terence Crawford, I think, is a defectively competitive personality. We see it in all sports. Kobe Bryant in basketball, more than anyone, probably Michael Jordan, someone who needed to compete with everyone at all times in everything and make competitions where they didn't even exist. That's Terence Crawford's basic personality. He is defectively competitive.
This guy's always coming up with slogans that he thinks are so deep. Defectively competitive. Like it's a genetic shortcoming or something.
And I think it makes him, I suspect, it makes him a great fighter, and I can't wait until the day where he can prove that in the ring against someone else as special as he is.
Well, he's going to have a chance at 147. Because he definitely going to have that chance. Because like my man Show Enough said in The Last Dragon, you can run, but you can't hide.
Yes.
And one ritual that most great fighters go through at some point is to appear here in the Mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden. So Terence Crawford tonight came to New York, appeared in the big room at Madison Square Garden for the first time, drew a larger than expected crowd, and showed them what has become his typical performance. A performance in which he goes into the ring, sizes up the opponent, spends a few rounds getting comfortable with what he thinks he can do, and then produces vicious punishment, which separates him from every other fighter in his weight class. We look forward, as we have for the past few years, to seeing what he does next. And thanks for being with us on this Madison Square Garden edition of World Championship Boxing.
Okay, thank you. With your mentally unstable ass. This dude always crying about something. You tell he on some damn heavy drugs, allegedly. Every time this man starts talking about a topic, he starts crying like a bitch. But anyway, yeah, that Terence Crawford, he's going to do some big things. Right? Or he's going to die trying. But I'm looking forward to him moving to 147. All right? That's going to be no joke. And that Errol Spence fight, I'm probably going to cover that too next week. I'll be rooting for him, but it would not shock me if he loses that fight. But there's going to be some hellacious back and forth in that fight. I guarantee you that. Because I don't think that either one of them, when I say either one of them, I'm talking about Kell Brook or Errol Spence, have the defense to stop each other from connecting with hard shots. And both of them hit hella hard, man. Well, anyway, peace.